What does it mean to be a freeloader?
That old lady is just a leech. Tell her to get lost.
Moocher, get out, you old hag. I never wanted to know that words of disrespect could sting so much, especially coming from a child's mouth. This happened a few years ago. My husband passed away in his early 30s. Until the very end, he held my hand and said,
Arya, I'm sorry. Be happy.
It's not like I was able to be as happy as my husband had hoped. But happiness didn't come easily, mainly because living with my mother was a challenge. Around the time my husband died, my father also passed away suddenly. My mother, who lives in a remote area where a car is essential, doesn't have a driver's license. Concerned, I chose to move in with her, even though it meant a longer commute to work. That decision was a mistake. At first, my mother said, "Let's cooperate and live together." But soon she started living sloppily, treating the sofa like her nest. She didn't help with chores despite our initial agreement. I tried talking to her about it, but she'd say, "You're the worst daughter, making an old woman work. You're already a disgrace for coming back home." I was deeply hurt and couldn't sleep that night. The next morning I said, "Mom, if you dislike me that much, I can leave." She looked at me angrily and said, "You know I can't shop without you. Are you threatening me?" "No, I just didn't want to make you uncomfortable." "Then just do the housework and be a useful daughter." Grumbling, she ate the breakfast I made. I honestly didn't know what she wanted. My spirit was gradually worn down by her constant complaints. My physical health was deteriorating due to the long commute and handling all the housework. I had reached my limit with the long commute and taking on all the household chores. When I got home from work, I did all the housework that my mother didn't do, and then collapsed into bed. In a life where I was unable to do anything I liked, my mother complained about me almost every day. Just when I thought that days like this would continue forever, one day a major incident occurred. My brother's family showed up at our home. "What brings you here all of a sudden?" My brother Louis, his wife, and their son never visited because they found the countryside boring. As I was puzzled, my sister-in-law Elvina tilted her head. "Didn't Mom tell you?" Before I could respond, my mother rushed in and warmly greeted them. My mother congratulates my brother's family on how well they came. "What's going on?" I asked. "We're going to live with Louis and his family now. So, Arya, you're not needed anymore. Start packing," she said, ignoring my shock. She then welcomed my brother's family into the house. As the family settles into the living room after bringing in heavy bags, my mom orders me to make coffee. I start making coffee in a daze, almost breaking into tears. My mom had always treated my brother and me differently since we were kids. For my brother's birthdays, she buys him all the gifts he asks for, but on mine she just hands me something random without considering my wishes. When it was time for college, my brother got financial support, but I didn't because my mom believes women don't need to study. So I worked hard, earned a scholarship, and graduated from a 4-year college. Balancing part-time work and studies back then was really tough. When my husband passed away and my mom offered to live with me, I thought maybe she finally saw me. Turns out I was wrong. I make enough coffee for everyone and decide to retreat to my room. Since my mom doesn't want me around, I need to start looking for a new place to live ASAP. As I'm about to leave the living room, I suddenly stumble forward, feeling a jolt in my back. I was lost in sadness, but when I turned around, it's Delano, my brother's son who had kicked me. "Stop it, that hurts. You can't kick people," I warn him. Hearing my voice, Alvina, his mom, surprisingly tells me, "Arya, please stop it." Delano, grinning, says, "I took down the old lady." Alvina smiles and says, "Yes, you did." Confused, I show them my bruised knee. Isn't it basic to teach kids not to kick people? I'm actually hurt. Why shouldn't I correct Delano? "We practice no-scold parenting. We let our child grow freely, doing what he wants. So please don't scold Delano," Alvina says, visibly annoyed. She takes Delano and leaves, saying, "No point talking to someone like this. Let's go play in the living room." I was furious, but it was clear that my mom, brother, and Alvina would side against me. Picking a fight I can't win won't help, so I head to the kitchen to calm down. When I'm about to break, I turn to sweets for comfort. I thought I had some cream puffs in the kitchen, but as I get there, my brother is already opening the fridge, exclaiming, "Oh, cream puffs! Delano, you want a cream puff?" He calls out to the living room, and Delano comes running to take one. I snap at my brother. "Hey, that cream puff was mine. Why are you giving away stuff from someone else's house to your kid?" "Oh, that was yours? Well, the cream puff is happier being eaten by a cute kid. Getting mad at a child, you're losing it." "I'm not mad at Delano. I'm mad at you for giving away my cream puff." My mom and Alvina must have heard me raising my voice at my brother. They both come into the kitchen. "Arya, enough is enough. Stop picking fights with your brother. Don't you have better things to do? When are you planning to leave?" my mom says. "Leave? You just told me to leave today. I have nowhere to go," I reply. "Oh, poor thing. How about we let Arya stay until she finds a new place, mother-in-law?" Alvina suggests, feigning pity. My mom reluctantly agrees, saying, "Alvina, you're so kind." I'm frustrated, but no arguing won't help. Still, I can't help but voice my discontent. "What do you mean, support me? I pay for half the living expenses in this house. Why am I being treated like this?" "You're still being supported by your parents, right? Isn't the money coming from Dad's inheritance?" The truth is, I pay for the household expenses from my own salary. But my brother and his wife assume I'm living off my late father and mother, so there's no point in arguing. Delano, having finished his cream puff, appears and asks, "What does support mean?" My brother points at me with a smug smile. "It means that lady over there. She's a loser who needs to be supported. Tell her to leave." "Huh, freeloader. Get out, old lady." I never knew how much it could hurt to be insulted by a child. My sadness turns into boiling rage. I start to feel that I can't forgive my mother, brother, and his family. Fine, I'll leave as soon as I find a new place. But I'm taking everything I brought with me. That's okay, right, big brother? "Sure, go ahead," he says, mocking me. My anger peaks. I vow never to forgive them. I make plans and decide to move out as soon as possible. On moving day, I gift my mom and my brother's family a vacation as a final act of filial piety. They happily go on the trip, but they're in for a surprise when they return. I complete the move, imagining their shocked faces. I leave a notebook in the living room and head to my new home, full of spirit. The next night, I get a frantic call from Alvina. Aria, what's going on? The house is empty. I bet they're panicking. Everything from the fridge to the washing machine is gone. I had warned my brother that I'd take everything I bought. I simply followed through. When I moved in, everything was old, so I replaced it all. My mom knew this. I hear Alvina screaming at my mom. Why didn't you stop Aria? My mom's pathetic response comes through. I never thought she'd actually do it. I can hear Delano crying in the background. They're in more chaos than I imagined. Aria says she bought everything herself, but there's no proof. Didn't she buy it all with Dad's inheritance? My father left no inheritance. You and my brother left right after the funeral, so you probably didn't know. There's no way you could afford to send us that much money just from your pension, Alvina argues. That money was from me, I clarify. What? Alvina sounds dumbfounded. I paid it. Check the notebook in the living room, I instruct. The notebook contains all the receipts for everything I bought for the household. Alvina sees it and stammers, What does this mean? I explain, I have more money than you and my brother think. I never got help with college tuition and felt frustrated because of it. But I used that frustration as fuel, working hard during job hunting, and landed a job at a top-tier company. Being used to hard work, I excelled at my job and am the only woman among my peers on a fast track to promotion. My mom and brother never showed interest in where I work, so I never bothered telling them. When Alvina relayed this over the phone, both my mom and brother seemed shaken, but I felt no obligation to continue the conversation. So feel free to live your life without the burden of supporting me, I said and hung up. That night, I slept well in a quiet home for the first time in a while. It was a truly peaceful night, free from being kicked or hit by my nephew, and without anyone telling me to leave. A few days of peace followed. Then my mom and brother's family somehow found out where I lived and showed up. When I asked through the doorbell, "What do you want?" my brother pleaded.
Please give back the appliances or lend us money to buy new ones. We're at our limit.
I had assumed my brother could manage, but it turns out he quit his job when they moved here. When I return home, my rent is 0. They thought they could live off my mom's pension and my dad's inheritance. When I laughed at their foolishness, my brother got angry and started yelling, but I ignored him and called the police. Sorry, there's a commotion at my apartment entrance and it's frightening. Could you come? The police arrived within minutes. As I live near a police box, security is outstanding. I had anticipated my family would follow me, so I deliberately told friends where I was moving. I chose an apartment close to a police station. I had decided that if my mom and my brother's family showed up, I'd immediately involve the police. Sure enough, they got a stern warning from the police and left in a hurry. After the police got involved, I knew my mom and brother's family would never bother me again. I blocked their phone numbers and mail accounts, successfully cutting ties with them. I later heard about my mom and brother's family from local friends. My brother, it seems, is working part-time at a grocery store 90 minutes away by car from our hometown. He's so incompetent that he gets yelled at every day. But in that rural area, there's nowhere else to work. He's clinging to his job, constantly getting scolded by a younger manager. My nephew Delano started kindergarten, but is struggling to make friends. Thanks to Alvina's lax parenting, Delano has become so spoiled that he's hitting his friends, just like he used to do to me. Word got around among the moms, and now Alvina and Delano are isolated because nothing good comes from being involved with that kid. Delano is acting out his stress at home, causing daily chaos. Their already old house is getting destroyed in various places because of his tantrums. Furthermore, Delano seems to have developed a mistrust of people. He can't even step out of the house and has stopped going to kindergarten. Alvina keeps saying, "How did it come to this?" and spends her days crying. As for me, I'm still enjoying living alone. The desire for my mother's approval disappeared when I cut ties, and now I'm relishing the freedom I finally gained, living a comfortable life while working. Living alone can be lonely at times, but so far, I haven't met anyone I like more than my late husband. I hope that someday I'll meet someone I can love as much as him. And when that time comes, I'll start a new chapter in my life.